Hi, this is Dan, and the future holds crypto. We're gonna start today with a look at some indicators from Trading Central. Let's start with Bitcoin. This is an interesting indicator here. I mean, these are some indicators. They're probably taking into account a few indicators, and based on the probability, they give some idea on what they think the price will go or the trend is going. And in this case, they're saying that it will bounce from this current price to more than 13,000. Let's see. Don't take this too serious, but it's interesting to take a look at. If we look at something else, let's try. That was the Bitcoin CME futures. We can look at the normal Bitcoin. It has a very similar price prediction. If you look at Ethereum, Ethereum looks quite interesting. It says it could go up to more than 500 or 450. Let's see if that happens. If we look at XRP, price prediction is not very bad, but not necessarily impressive if you think about it. It's only 31 cents, but well, it's interesting. Whatever, we don't know if this will happen or not. There are very many. There are a lot of variables in place. Something that also caught my eye here is if you look at the dollar index, dollar currency index. If you look at the weekly chart, they're predicting to go lower. This is interesting. I mean, the first guy that made this correlation and stuck in my head was Blockchain Backer. He's one of the first people that I've heard in this space. That said that basically there are a lot of times where the cryptocurrency is actually correlated to other assets, especially the stock market. And I think during massive moves like it happened, I think he's definitely right. I mean, look at the very big crash in March. Definitely affected both crypto and S&P 500. So if you basically let's look here on the S&P 500. This is when the drop happened in cryptocurrency as well, right? So also after the 2017 rally, they both grew in the same time. 2017 here, and here it dropped a little bit, just like the cryptocurrency. So basically they grew up in the same time, and then it dropped again here. After this is just a side note, and I want to make another side note to this. If you look at this graph, you might think that, man, this looks great, right? And to some degree, it doesn't look bad. But I was also talking about in my first video, when I stuttered a lot, basically, about the S&P 500 and the fact that the inflation also grew. So the fact that you shouldn't keep your life savings in fiat currency. And I gave this example here that from 1930s to 2020, basically you lost 93% of the value in inflation. So bear that in mind. Also, look at the S&P 500 with inflation adjusted. This is, as you can see it in trading view, the same spectacular growth. If you see here the inflation adjusted, it looks a little bit different. And yes, in the last, let's say, since 10 years, the inflation didn't hit it very hard. But look at basically, if you invested here, you took more than it from 70s to 87 to recover your money. Also, interesting thing is that if you correlate the S&P 500 and reported to gold, it doesn't look as spectacular either. And gold is real money because it passes the test of time, so it actually retains the value over a long period of time. And you can actually look here in the first video, a good explanation, the currency versus money. It's a very good video that you need to watch. Basically, if you look at this one, it's the S&P 500 doesn't look at all very impressive, but that's the reality. Look at here as well. Basically, since 2000, it never recovered in gold. And you will say, yeah, but gold also grew. But yeah, it's retained the value, and probably it also grew more than retaining the value. However, if you look at the real estate to compare gold to something else, you will see that now you have to pay less gold to get an average house than in 2001, and actually even 72. So basically, it's an interesting thing to consider. Okay, so going back to the first indicator, if you we were talking about the DXY, the dollar currency index, and if we go here as well, something interesting to watch. I put it on a weekly base, 1 week time frame. They're saying that it will go back to here, somewhere here, and it does make sense. So if you see, basically, it devalued in the crisis from 2000. Then it grew up until the crisis in 2008, and then when probably both cases they printed money, inflation rate grew. It grew up again. It probably will retest this region and then the next one. And why am I saying this? That is that if you watch Blockchain's backer video, and I certainly recommend it. I like his style, and I like his the fact that he's trying to keep up with his strategy. He's not being emotional. He's actually helpful to explain why things are happening and trying to keep his strategy and decouple it from the emotion. I like his style very much, and he has a lot of very good points in his videos. So basically, I'm saying that the last time the dollar went down, it was also the time when from the beginning of 2017 and to end of 2017, it's also when we had the bull run. And he's saying that there's a good chance that the next time we have a big drop again, we might get another bull run. And considering the cycles that, as I told you in the previous video, markets have cycles, and I think, and there are a lot of theories here, but I think the cycles here are dictated by Bitcoin, of course, and the Bitcoin halving events, and which happens to once in 4 years, approximately. We had the last one in May 2020. The last one before it was somewhere in June 2016. What I'm saying is that it might be a time for a new cycle, and the bull run might be starting soon. Probably the end of this year, will continue by the end of 2020. If this is if one of the theories is correct, because there are other theories that say that cycles expand, and that's another possibility. I don't like to give dates. I just wanted to present more theories that I've heard, and I believe the theory with 4 years, and especially with 2021 and the end of 2021. However, you cannot be sure of anything here. So if this goes down in two phases, actually maybe we can go like this: go back a little bit, retest it. We might have. As we had before, bull run form from two parts. We might have a start of the bull run soon, and some prices going up, and then retest of the cryptocurrency and market entirely, and then the big one will be when this guy goes lower than this and approaches to the end of 2021. Another thing that I've actually liked a lot yesterday when I watched blockchain backer video, and that everybody's talking about a huge crisis, and there are not a lot of optimists out there, and there are a lot of theories. We can go to a double dip crisis, we can go on a big depression. There are a lot of theories, but an interesting one that I've heard with blockchain backer is that this is a hyper bubble, and this will continue, and the bubble will burst further away in time, and that's certainly a possibility, especially with all the money printing. So I will play this video and let him explain better.
Capitulated yet on the idea that this thing is a monstrous bubble. And all the bubble structures that I look at, we have exactly this. We have the short squeeze that takes it out. We fire right back into the double tap. The people who have been around here for a while have talked about this, the double tap. We come back and we hit it, bounce out of it. We just kind of tighten up real tight right up in here, and then it breaks out for a 5-wave structure, and then that's the end of it. So when we get out there and we have this breakup, now I'm not picking these targets right here. These numbers over here on the side, I've just drawn a 5-wave structure. It's not targets, but then we do have the big fall to where we literally lose almost all of it. And here, let me zoom out on it a little bit more, put it on the monthly time frame, and we're talking massive, massive crash. So the people who are calling for gloom and doom, the people who are calling for the Great Depression in the stock market, oh, it'll come, but we're just not there yet. There's still 5 more waves to the upside that we have to do before we get it. And anybody who understands a bubble structure, this is not the top of a bubble structure, not even close. This is like the halfway point of a bubble. So we're almost there, but we need to have 5 more waves to go to the upside before we completely lose everything. Now you may be saying to yourself, well, that doesn't make any sense, right? We have unemployment that's sky high. I mean, the highest unemployment we've ever seen in our entire lifetimes. I don't think there's anybody alive, unless they're at least like 90 years old, that has seen unemployment at this level. We're looking at small businesses failing, right? I'm a small business myself. I mean, I can look at my own numbers right now and see that I'm at 55% of the revenue that I was at last year. All the businesses that are in my position at the same time, we've been at like this all year long. You have to take a look at your fixed expenses, your overhead costs, everything, and say, can I even stay afloat any longer? Is that V recovery coming? Are consumers going to be returning back to, their spending behaviors that they used to spend at? Time is showing that they're not. Here we are, we're almost in October, and buyers still aren't buying it. They're just buying at like 50% of the levels that they were buying at last year, and last year was lower than it was.
So I want if you want to see all of the video, of course you can go to his channel, but to make a short description of what he said next in this situation is that the fundamentals don't look great. And it's weird to believe that the bubble will even further grow, and considering all of the small businesses are going underwater. But he had a very, very interesting point of view. I mean, he said that when small businesses go underwater, there is a lot of need on the market that needs attention, that can be taken by another business. And who has a lot of money are the big corporations. So basically the big corporations which have money can take that business space that was left by the small businesses that went underwater. And yeah, of course, it's not a pretty sight to look at. Nobody likes it, but it does make sense. And I mean, it's like the value probably is like a flow. It flows from one place to the other until it doesn't have any place to go, any place left to go. So I certainly think that the value can flow in different places until the bubble actually bursts. So I think I like his theory. It's not pretty. I mean, it's pretty on the short term. You have to be prepared from when the bubble actually bursts, and it will be probably very painful for a lot of people. but you need to be prepared for this. Okay, so I thought that it was a very interesting point of view. Wanted to share that. Going back to other stuff that I wanted to go into. Okay, so I want to bring this a little bit on the screen. The ISO 20022. It's I want to bring this up because this is the International Standards Organization established a universal standard, this universal standard in 2004, and the mission was to bring legacy payment infrastructure into the modern world and help to enable global my English is still asleep. Interoperability and the improved customer experience. The ISO 20022 is steadily becoming the global standard for the world's cross-border payments flows. Well, interesting fact here is that Ripple has been a leader in this shift in the RippleNet network and has been aligned with this standard from the start. And this is why I like this company and where it is going. They aren't afraid of regulation, they aren't afraid of standards, and they started directly with this in mind. And very nice part here is that Ripple became a part of ISO 20022 registration management group standards body, and the first member focused on distributed ledger technology. This membership enables us to meet the needs of our 300 plus customers by helping define the future direction of cross-border payments standard to evolve the standard. Through the membership, Ripple is able to contribute their experience and expertise in the application of this standard to cross-border payments and its use in the digital ledger technology, data structures, and our standardized API. And they also saying that their customers are pioneers that use this standard for cross-border payments. So this is a big thing, and Ripple became a part of the registration management group of this standard, right? This is a big thing. I mean, it's from this article. It's from June 10. You can find. I went directly to the Ripple site, but you can find it anywhere. A lot of big sites, news sites. And why I brought this up? I was looking at the Twitter account from this standard, and I've seen this today. I've been impressed with how proactive Deutsche Bank has been with promoting the ISO 20022 and their migration plans. The key is to act now and not wait, as the numbers of initiatives globally. Stress Paul Ruskin of Trace Financial on LinkedIn. And and if you go here, you'll go to the Deutsche Bank, which has a part 3 document here. And basically, this is related to the fact that SWIFT actually wanted to delay their conversion to their adoption of this standard. And if I go a little bit further down, so in order to build the new platform, SWIFT decided to put off the migration in the correspondent banking space by 12 months to November 22. Shortly after SWIFT announcement to postpone, the world had to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic and to ensuring lockdowns in many countries, the impact of which has been far-reaching. And as you've seen in the IMF, we can tweets, and I can go to them soon. The international payments are very important. To send money for workers to send money abroad to their families if they are working in another country, and when it takes more than 5 days, it's not okay. And it's having liquidity is very important, and this is actually tweeted by IMF themselves. So I'm actually going to if I go to my channel. I talk about this in my second video, and Okay, look at here. IMF actually had 2 tweets in a 24 hours period saying the money which overseas workers send back home are a crucial source of funding for many low-income families. Against the background of the pandemic, the need of money is acute. Another one, the money which overseas workers. No, this is the same. Sorry. Oh, did I put the same? Okay, this is they had the same, basically the same tweets but with different data. But it was in the same day. So what I wanted to say is basically that this is getting a lot of attention lately, and this pandemic situation actually increased the need, and everybody's looking at it, and including IMF. So if I go back to here, shortly after the SWIFT announcement was postponed, they will have to deal with COVID, as I said. In combination, this factor has since sparked a wave of action from market infrastructure around the world, announcing their revised migration approaches. Now, more than ever, with shifting times and strained resources, banks and corporates are urged not to view the ISO 20022 migration as just another project that they can put on the back burner. As SWIFT said they would. The delays in the corresponding banking space across the several market infrastructure should not tempt banks to take their foot off the pedal. Instead, they should use the additional time to strategically prepare for the migration, taking into account the new data requirements such as a structured address and rich remittance information. The journey to ISO 20022 is still moving ahead at speed, and the internal project need to reflect this. At Deutsche Bank, we remain focused on this destination and are here to guide you on the way through a series of deep dives, case studies, and points of attention drawn from the own internal analysis. Our guide party aims to provide, and this is basically their guide. I cannot go into this, but it's very important to show this, that this is a growing priority. And IMF, Deutsche Bank, and other entities are looking into it. So, if we're done with this, I wanted to also get into another thing. Basically, I wanted to point something out. That Ripple is going through a lawsuit, and they have to prove that they're not a security, and this lawsuit is it has taken a while. We don't have a response yet in that lawsuit, and I think that to some degree, that's also keeping the price down. And I'm not saying necessarily that it will boom after this happens, but I also think that if this thing clears up, it is also part of the regulations that need to clarify what is cryptocurrency, how it can be used, and stuff like that. So basically, this is something that might help Ripple's clients to adopt XRP on-demand liquidity faster. So it will help the utility to kick in faster, and also it will help the image. So before the utility kicks in, I think that we'll have a small bump in price based on speculation alone, because I think that Ripple is the price is a little bit smaller compared to the others. For example, Ethereum recuperated more than XRP did since the crash, and I think it's possible that this is one of the reasons. So I've watched this issue throughout the months, and I've seen a couple of very important progress, some important progress here. So if you look, the first important one that I've seen is the Yahoo News, but Christopher Giaccano, the former chairman of the Commodities Future Trading Commission, made waves last week when he co-authored the paper in the International Financial Law Review, arguing that the cryptocurrency XRP does not qualify as a security and that should not be regulated as a security, but instead considered a currency of a medium exchange. So this is from June 22. Let me play this.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit initiative to explore the virtues and the challenges of a U.S. central bank digital currency.
And Chris, Dan Roberts here. Tell us about how this is in some ways a response to what is happening with China. We remember that when Facebook announced its Libra project, Mark Zuckerberg, in many ways, when he was speaking to lawmakers, was using the threat and the fear of China doing something similar to try and encourage lawmakers to basically leave Libra alone, because if we don't allow Libra and other similar projects to innovate, then China will beat us in this area. Tell us a little bit about the reports of a China coin.
Well, so what I would say there is it's as much influenced by China as it is by Libra, as it is by Bitcoin, and as it is by COVID. I left after 5 years serving at the US CFTC. I came away with some observations about the global state of our financial markets. One is that just like so much of our physical infrastructure, our bridges and our tunnels and our airports, a lot of our financial market infrastructure is similarly aged and in some cases obsolete. And the second observation is we're truly seeing a new wave of the internet, an internet of the things of value. And that new wave is going to put serious pressure on these antiquated financial systems. And it's really that led me to being a proponent for exploration of a US CBDC. Absolutely, others are doing it around the world. It's not just China. We know that over 50 central banks are experimenting with this. The United States has been a leader in so many phases of technology. Our feeling is it needs to be a leader in this phase as well.
So I wanted to bring this up again because digital dollar is a real thing. It's a project. It's going on. There are 50 other central banks that are working on their own CBDCs, and this is probably this is accelerated by China trying to do to release their own digital yuan. So this is happening, guys. This is happening. So, and he also talked about the infrastructure. That you need the infrastructure to be built, and this is what Ripple has been doing this couple of years, and creating all of the payment corridors and everything like that. So you need the plumbing, as they say. You need to build the plumbing, and there's certainly how they said in some videos. I think it was David Schwartz or even Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO, that they can be called plumbers to some degree. Going back.
And then, Chris, while we have you here today, just recently you made some comments about XRP, once known as Ripple, of course, not being, in your view, a security. And it was interesting, that was picked up in a lot of places. And then some people kind of pointed out, well, Chris is no longer with the agency, former CFTC. So I guess I'd ask how closely you're in touch with the current regulators and whether we should take your view as the official regulatory view. And then also some people pointing out that, you're working in some ways as a consultant with Ripple, the company behind XRP. So some people kind of take your declaration on XRP with a grain of salt. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, I am not an official, and so I am not speaking in an official capacity. Ultimately, it'll be the courts that will determine this. I am now a practicing lawyer. I'm with the firm of Wilkie Farr and Gallagher. Ripple is a client of the firm. What we did in a scholarly piece in a law review was to analyze Ripple against the well-known Howey test, which is the Supreme Court's determination of what is a security, and based upon a legal analysis, concluded that it's not. Now, you'll note in that piece, it's a legal piece. It's not a advocacy piece. It's not a policy piece. It's a straight legal analysis.
So that's what I wanted to show you. Of course, this is a legal study, so they use the Howey test. It was still in the hands of the court, and it still is. But definitely, this is an important aspect, and I think it will play an important factor in the decision. That's okay. The next one will be the Congressman Tom Emmer from Stuart XRP. My position is very clear. XRP is not a security, by the way. I recommend following this guy.
Said we've moved on past Silk Road. Yeah, it's a long time ago, but there's a lot of members of Congress that still think of this in terms of Silk Road. Yeah. And when you say over 2 years, first off, my position's very clear. XRP is not a security, all right? But even if you want to do this, you want to have this discussion, the SEC, my frustration, as you probably have heard very directly, you brought up in a very nice way. Maybe you should be doing this job and I should be doing that one because I'm not going to be so nice. Over 2 years is not only a problem, it is absolutely unacceptable. Because what this does is entrepreneurs like you and everybody else on this town hall you start looking elsewhere. Money will go where it's easiest to flow. And the more the government puts in obstacles, and one of them is just inaction, the less opportunity we have to position the U.S. as the leader. And it's an obstacle to growth. So we're going to keep working. Really appreciate all your support.
Okay, this is one. So basically, we had the first one. This is news from the 22nd of June. This was from August 20. Not sure if they were exactly published in the same day here. Probably they retweeted after a day or two after. By the way, look at this one. All shitcoins are making a huge gains, and they're still discussing if XRP is security or not. And there are a lot of people that have a lot of FUD for XRP. Probably a lot of them have invested when it peaked, and then so they invested when it was expensive, and then they sold it when it was very low in price. Well, it's their right to be upset. I don't have anything against them, but I find it funny. I really find it funny. I mean, you should, from my perspective, I'm glad it was the price is still low and you can still buy at low prices. And also, don't forget, don't chase other assets. Make your own strategy. If your strategy is to go with other assets, of course, do it, especially based on a budget. But don't chase other assets. You see something exploding, and then you buy that. You sell your XRP at low price, for example, go into something that already boomed. Of course, you're gonna lose money. Come on, you'll get a correction in the other part, and XRP, which is known to be a lagger, will grow again. You're gonna get pissed, and then you're gonna blame XRP. But whatever. This is not, by the way, financial advice. It's don't do anything that because of what I say here, but just my opinion on the matters and my view. Okay, so this is the second part, and the third one. This is very interesting from digital perspective. I also follow this guy. Very interesting and good information that you hear there. I follow a lot of people, and I learn a lot from a lot of people in this field.
Details begin to emerge and payment charters are granted, the OCC will continue to fulfill their mission. In addition, regulatory certainty is a goal that Acting Comptroller Brooks and I share. That's why last week I introduced the Securities Clarity Act, which would clarify securities law in a technologically agnostic way and allow for the distribution of an underlying asset that is in fact a commodity. With regard to blockchain technologies, the Securities Clarity Act would allow for the distribution of a token following a registered securities offering. So long as actors play by the rules of the road, they deserve the assurances that regulators will not continue to cause uncertainty and will in fact support innovation in America. I'm grateful for the support of Darren Soto, a co-chair of the Blockchain Caucus like myself, and Ro Khanna, a member of the caucus and California member, whose district has directly seen the benefits of these new technologies. It's through practical, nonpartisan solutions like this that this task force can be most effective during this and going into the next Congress. Again, I'd like to thank Chairman Lynch for convening this hearing and leading the task force, and I hope we will continue to work together to better understand.
Okay, so that's the final piece, but this happened very, very recently, a couple of hours ago. Yeah, so this is the Congressman Tom Emmer, and he talks about the introduction of the Security Clarity Act. So what was the first step, guys? What was the first step? So I talked about it in my first video. If I go here, and they're trashing any other project. Sorry about this. Okay, if I go here. So, what was a very important thing that happened? And I said that it will be named should be named Crypto Day. It's the first. We have two things here. Basically, the government gave a green light for banks to custody crypto. That's it. Basically, that's what I said. It's not a question of if, it's only a question of when. And the second one is the first crypto bank received the license. So Kraken is the first crypto bank, and they received the license for it. That's major. So this is basically this, that they managed to, but after having the opportunity to hold crypto, to custody crypto, you need a little more clarity. You need clarity, regulation clarity, and this is what's going on now, as you can see in the past, what I've showed you here. So this is going on right now, and probably the regulations are coming very soon, sooner than we expect. And that's a good thing. I mean, it's the situation globally needs to put pedal to the metal. So I think that this guy, which was from the beginning consistent of his beliefs, I think that definitely things are happening now, and a lot of this will be a good influence on XRP, especially with this issue of XRP. We need clarity on the security part, and for its adoption, the clients need clarity there too. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, and of course, if you found this interesting or helpful, please subscribe to this video, like the video, subscribe to this channel, like the video, and share to your friends. Thank you very much, guys, and see you in the next one.